You have been lied to. You've been taught that confidence is loud, that it's a performance. It is not. That is the behavior of a pawn desperately trying to prove its worth to the players. This is the greatest deception of modern society, a lie designed to keep you on a hamster wheel of external validation, constantly performing for approval. This confidence is brittle. It shatters at the first sign of criticism. It is a house of cards, and its owner lives in constant fear of a breeze. They are not in control. They are a slave to the opinions of everyone in the room. True confidence, the kind that commands respect without demanding it, is not a performance. It is a fortress. It is the silent, unshakable mind of the strategist who understands the real rules of power. It is an internal state of being so stable that nothing and no one can shake you from your center. The ancient Romans had a word for this, gravitas, the ability to lead without needing to be followed, to influence without trying to control. This gravitas is a form of psychological gravity. It is a presence so grounded, so rooted in its own self-worth, that it pulls others into its orbit. The performers are like satellites, noisy and fast, but they are all drawn to the massive, silent planet. This is the fundamental difference between seeking attention and commanding it. Today, we are not learning how to act confident. We are learning how to become confident. We are tearing down the flimsy facade of the performer and building the inner fortress of the master. These are the 5 truths from Machiavelli's lessons on the mind of the truly confident. To begin this transformation, type this into the comments below. I am building my inner fortress. Chapter 1. The Truth of Emotional Sovereignty. The first truth is the most fundamental. The amateur's mind is a public space, open to any and all influence. They are emotional ping-pong balls. Someone insults them, they bounce back with anger. Someone criticizes them, they collapse into defense. Their emotional state is not their own. It is a reflex dictated by the world around them. This makes them predictable. And what is predictable is controllable. The person who cannot control their emotions will be controlled by anyone who can. Your emotional reactions become levers for others to pull. If a rival knows that a simple criticism will make you defensive and angry, they will use it every time to cloud your judgment. You become a puppet dancing on strings you refuse to see, and your reactions are the very things that give them power. The master, the architect of their own mind, understands a forbidden truth. Your feelings are not facts. They are information. They are temporary chemical reactions that you can observe, analyze, and then choose whether or not to act on. This is emotional sovereignty. It is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about being the sole ruler of your own internal kingdom. You, and you alone, decide which emotions to show and when to show them. When someone tries to provoke you, you do not react. You collect data. Their anger is not a verdict on your worth. It is information about their insecurity. Their insult is not a reflection of you. It is a revelation of their own character. While they are losing control, you are gaining understanding. The mechanics of this are simple, but require discipline. When you feel that hot, reflexive flash of anger or defensiveness, you pause, you breathe, you create a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space, the amateur is a slave. But for you, that space is where your power lies. You might even smile slightly before responding calmly. That controlled, deliberate response is more powerful than any angry comeback. It sends a chillingly clear message. You cannot rattle me. People respect what they cannot control. When you demonstrate that their words, their actions, and their chaos have no power over your inner state, they automatically view you as stronger. You are no longer a pawn in their game. You are master of the board itself. Type this affirmation into the comments. My emotions are my information, not my master. Chapter 2. The Truth of the Quiet Center. The mind of the amateur is a noisy, chaotic place. They are terrified of silence because they are terrified of being alone with their own thoughts. They talk to fill the void, to prove they are smart, to demonstrate their worth, to beg for a connection. They believe that silence is a tool of leverage, a tactic to create pressure. This is still the mind of a pawn, trying to get something from others. Even the amateur's silence is loud. It is a needy and anxious, a performance of control. You can feel their internal tension as they wait for the other person to break. This silence is brittle. It screams, "I'm trying to manipulate you," which is the ultimate confession of weakness. It is just another form of noise, another desperate attempt to validate their own power by affecting someone else. The master understands a far deeper truth. True confidence is not found in the use of silence, but in the state of it. The master cultivates a quiet center. This is not a strategy, it is a result. The truly confident person is silent not because they are plotting, but because they have nothing to prove. Their validation is internal. They are not seeking approval from the room, so they feel no compulsion to speak. The mechanics of this are a form of radical presence. The amateur listens only to respond. They are not hearing what is said. They are waiting for their turn to talk, to perform. The master listens to understand. They are not competing for talking time. They are genuinely curious, observing the patterns, the motives, and the unsaid emotions. This lack of desperation to speak is what becomes so magnetic. It is not a tactic, it is an aura. It signals true, unshakable self-worth that does not require external validation. Furthermore, the master's listening gives the other person the gift of the void. Because the master is not competing, the speaker feels no need to be defensive. They are not being judged or analyzed for a counterattack, they are simply being heard. This creates a profound, almost hypnotic sense of trust and respect. The speaker automatically views the master as an equal or a superior, as someone who possesses the rare strength of genuine presence. When they do speak, it is not to impress but to add value. This makes their words carry immense weight. Their silence is not a weapon to control others, it is the shield that proves they are in control of themselves. This distinction is the foundation of true confidence. It is not just an idea, it must become an identity. To internalize this principle, type this into the comments. My silence is my proof, not my weapon. Chapter 3. The Truth of Unshakable Presence. The amateur focuses on what to say. The master focuses on how they are. We are taught to obsess over our words, to craft the perfect response, and to argue with logic. But this is a fatal flaw in our programming. We are told communication is verbal. This is a lie. Communication is only 7% verbal. The other 93% is your body language, your tonality, and the silent, invisible aura you project, your presence. The amateur ignores this. They are a leaking sieve of nervous energy. They slouch, they fidget, they break eye contact. Their voice is high and thin, betraying their anxiety. Their physical presence is not a statement, it is an apology for existing. They are physically asking for permission to be in the room, and the world, sensing this weakness, denies them. The master understands the ancient Roman concept of gravitas. They know that their posture speaks before their mouth ever opens. Their eye contact communicates their position before a single word is said. They understand that before any logical argument is processed, the primal, animal brain of the observer has already made a decision about them. This is the primacy effect. The first impression is not an impression, it is a judgment. The amateur's fidgeting and uncertain posture trigger the observer's predator-prey response. They are immediately classified as weak, untrustworthy, or irrelevant. Their words, no matter how intelligent, are now filtered through this initial judgment of porn. The master's unshakable presence does the opposite. Their calm, grounded energy communicates authority and high value. The observer's primal brain registers leader or architect. Their words, even if simple, are now perceived as profound. But this is not about faking it. The amateur tries to look confident. They puff their chest, they stare too long, they speak too loudly. This is a costume, and the seams are always visible. It is a desperate performance. When you walk into a room, you move like you belong there. When someone speaks to you, you face them fully. You do not check your phone, you do not fidget. These small things send massive, unignorable messages. They tell people that you are comfortable in your own skin. that you respect yourself, and that you expect to be taken seriously. Most people have a terrible physical presence because they are fundamentally uncomfortable with themselves. Their nervous energy communicates insecurity louder than any words. But when you master your physical presence, you communicate confidence before you even speak. You are not asking for respect, you are projecting it as a fact of the environment. Type this affirmation into the comments: I own the space I am in. Chapter 4. The Truth of Ruthless Competence. The amateur seeks to be liked. The master seeks to be necessary. The amateur is driven by a primitive social conditioning, the fear of being outcast. They believe that job security, social standing, and power come from being agreeable, accommodating, and a team player. They confuse popularity with power. They avoid making waves. They use likability as a substitute for competence. They are pleasant, they are friendly, and they are completely, utterly replaceable. They are a commodity, a line item on a spreadsheet that can be deleted without a second thought. The master builds their foundation on a different, colder, and more permanent truth. The brutal reality is that nice does not make you necessary. Being easy to work with does not guarantee respect. It guarantees you will be the first person asked to do the work no one else wants to do. What guarantees respect is leverage, and the most powerful, unassailable form of leverage is being so undeniably, ruthlessly competent that replacing you would be a strategic catastrophe for others. This is the ultimate insurance policy. When you are ruthlessly competent, the entire social dynamic inverts. You are no longer bound by the petty rules of likability. People must deal with you as you are, not as they wish you were. They might not like your boundaries. They might not like your directness. They might not like that you refuse to engage in their useless rituals. It does not matter. They need your results more than they need their own comfort. Their dependence on your skill becomes your leash on them. You are no longer auditioning for your position. They are perpetually auditioning to keep you. This requires a profound, almost monastic shift in focus. Stop trying to secure your position through personality. Secure it through performance. Stop networking and start working. The mechanics are not easy, but they are simple. First, you must become obsessed with mastery. Do not just do your job. Your job is a starting point, a container for you to practice in. Your real mission is to understand your industry, your craft, and the systems around you better than people who have been in it twice as long. Second, you do not just solve problems. Amateurs solve problems. You must anticipate and architect. You must see the second-order effects of every decision. You solve the problems your boss doesn't even know they have yet. You build the system that prevents the problem from ever occurring. Third, you must monopolize your niche. Do not just be better at what everyone else is doing. That is a crowded race. Be the only one who does what you do. Create a unique skill set, a unique perspective, a unique solution that only you can provide. Become the only solution to a very expensive and very painful problem. When you reach this level, your results speak for you. Your value becomes so obvious that arguing with you is counterproductive. Confidence at this point is not something you have to fake. It is not a mindset. It is a consequence. It is a calm, cold certainty forged from the undeniable evidence of your worth. To affirm your understanding, type this into the comments. My competence is my authority. Chapter 5. The Truth of the Sovereign Self. The final truth is the most liberating and the most closely guarded. The amateur is attached to results. They are needy. Why? Because the outcome of an interaction defines their self-worth. If the date goes well, they feel worthy. If they win the argument, they feel smart. If they are rejected, they are emotionally annihilated. Their sense of self is a fragile thing, placed in the hands of every stranger they meet. This neediness is not a quirk. It is a sickness. It is a validation hunger that you radiate like a signal. Others detect this signal on a primal level. It tells them you are a void seeking to be filled. It makes you predictable. And in the world of power, predictability is death. The master, in contrast, is not merely detached. Detachment is passive. It is a shield. The master embodies the sovereign self. This is not a tactic, it is the fundamental state of the truly powerful mind. The sovereign self means your validation is internal. It is not up for debate. It is not open for negotiation. It was established by you for you long before you ever walked into the room. You are the sole and absolute ruler of your own self-worth. The master still wants outcomes. They still work, strategize, and execute. But a failure is just a data point, not a verdict on their identity. A no does not diminish them. It simply signals a poor fit, a misaligned strategy, or bad timing. They recalibrate and move on. The amateur enters a negotiation hoping to gain value. The master enters a negotiation already knowing their value. This is the ultimate freedom, and it is the ultimate weapon. The mechanics require a profound internal shift, a reprogramming of your core identity. First, you stop focusing on getting approval and start focusing on projecting your authentic frame. You are not auditioning for a role in their life. You are holding an interview to see if they are a match for yours. The amateur anxiously asks, "Do they like me?" The master calmly asks, "Do I respect them?" This single shift in perspective changes the entire power dynamic. Second, you remove your self-worth from the table. It is no longer a bargaining chip. When your worth is not in question, you cannot be manipulated by praise, nor can you be wounded by criticism. Both are just noise, external data to be observed and analyzed, not felt. This state of sovereignty is what makes you magnetic. You are not trying to take energy or validation from anyone. You are already whole. You are a stable, unshakable force. People are not drawn to your power, they are drawn to your stability. You are operating from a place of substance, not of need. You have removed your opponent's primary weapon. They cannot bribe you with acceptance. They cannot threaten you with rejection. You have taken control of the entire game because you are the only one who is not afraid to lose. Type this affirmation into the comments: I am the sole ruler of my self-worth. You have just been given the 5 pillars to build your inner fortress. Most people will watch this video, feel a brief, fleeting sense of power, and then do nothing. They will close this tab and immediately return to their programming. They will go back to living their life, bounced around by the opinions, demands, and emotional whims of others. Why? Because these truths are not comfortable. They are different. They are not a feeling. They are a system. They are the cold, internal, structural work that separates the amateur from the architect. This knowledge is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. It is not about controlling others. It is about achieving absolute, non-negotiable control of yourself, your emotions, your presence, and your internal state. This inner sovereignty is the only foundation for true power. But this knowledge is worthless, a mere intellectual curiosity, until it becomes action. So now the real work begins. Do not try to master all 5 truths at once. You will be overwhelmed. Choose one, just one. Perhaps it is the quiet center. For the next 7 days, make that your sole focus. In every conversation, practice returning to that still point. Observe the game from your center. Watch the amateurs react while you decide. This is the first step in building your fortress. You now see the hidden architecture beneath the unshakable confidence. You could never go back to being just a pawn, reacting to a game you don't understand. You are the architect. If this video has changed how you view confidence, hit that like button. Share it with one person who is ready to stop performing and start building. And subscribe for more truths that challenge everything you have been taught. Now, drop this final affirmation in the comments to seal your new identity. I am the architect of my own life.